Good morning, this is Mr. D, Daddy D, Guild Daddy D, or just plain D. June 13, 2025, Global Labs patch notes just dropped. We're going to jump into them. I briefly went through them. Nothing groundbreaking, but there are some major changes. Starting right off with Gumiho. C8, 9, and 10 Gumiho Black Shrine boss is being added. They said here that it will be more difficult than Golden Pig, more difficult than the other Black Shrine bosses. It says recommended for Tier 8 or Calamity 8, 345 AP or more, Calamity 9, 355, and Calamity 10, 355. Also, something that I found interesting here is that in the difficulty level of the upper part of the 8, the ability value through the Treasure of Light, the Sun, Moon, and Earth orbs, is not applied. And the ability value of the equipment equipped by the character at the time of entry is affected. So, yeah, something to keep in mind. This proves to be a difficult fight here when it drops. They're not going live on Global Labs. They're just going to update it on the official server. When killing the boss, earn up to 1 loot based on your rank. Also, your chances of winning the odds loots will increase as your rank goes higher. You can get 7 to 8 Dawns on Calamity 8 and up to Duo Debaraka earrings. I imagine that's what everybody's going after as I look through this. A lot of this is translated horribly, but we're gonna make do. Calamity 9, you can get 10 to 11 Essence of the Dawns and up to Duo. In Calamity 10, you could get 18 to 19 Essence of the Dawns. So this could be very lucrative for some of you who can handle this. I know a lot of people have not spent a lot of time on the Black Shrines. Let me take this moment to reiterate. Just doing the solo Calamity 1 through 4 of each boss, there's an adventure journal that gives you family-wide rewards. So I would highly recommend even doing the Calamity 1 on every boss. If you can and you're geared enough, you should be doing Calamity 5 or 6s or higher, simply just to try to get your Debaraka earrings. It's solo content. Once you get down on the mechanics of the Black Shrine bosses, your guild, or you could look for a party, but the party finder's kind of empty when it comes to shrines, except for very late night, primetime NA. But your guild, or find a group that runs the party bosses every week. The good news is, if your guild runs it, and your 5-man team gets ranked, everybody in the guild gets a reward. So I know our guild has gotten to the point where we consistently get guild rewards for everybody in the guild, but if you're not in a guild that does the group content, once again, I'm going to stress this, maybe it's time to find a new home. Or maybe it's time for you to start organizing those parties in your guild, kind of be, instead of, having the GM have to do everything, maybe say, hey, listen, I really want to do this content. Can I try to get a group going? So learning the mechanics is number one. Each boss for the party bosses has an easy and a hard mode. Easy mode is just go up and hack and slash. It really is a trainer to teach you the mechanics, but the mechanics are huge in Black Shrine bosses. Some of the easier bosses, you don't really need to pay attention, but, if you want to get to the point where you do 5 regularly and you want to try to get ranked, gear up and learn the mechanics. Okay, moving right along. Addition and improvements, character dies, not many character changes. Content, they're adding Black Spirit buffs, so it's improved an aura burning buff that could be obtained through an exchange. The buff that was able to be obtained by consuming 50 existing energy has been removed. So they're increasing the combat experience gains and skill experience gains by talking to the Black Spirit. So instead of 20 and 8, it's going up to 50 and 30%. Improved to increase combat experience and gain skill experience to gain buffs at the same time. So an example of an existing buff increases the combat experience gain plus 20 or gain skill plus 8 when consuming 100 energy. Change. So you're going to still have to use the 100 energy, but now you're going to get 50 and 30 instead of or. Added to consume energy and earn life experience buffs with the Black Spirit. So 100 energy, you'll get 20% life experience. So I know quite a few people in my guild are probably going to be taking advantage of both of those. Among the growth path goals, the goal and description of the Black Spirit Burning client have been changed to match the energy consumption that has been changed. The 15 to 60 level character has improved the reward buffs from 1 to 6 for faster growth in the challenges. So this is while you're leveling, you get those, let's see, what are they called? The combat reward faster and stronger. So they increase those. So now it's going to be easier and faster getting to level 60. Items. When trading items on a unified exchange, the reason why there were limited quantities that can be traded at once is to allow more adventurers to participate in the transaction. Even if you increase the amount of items that can be traded at once, we have made some adjustments to the settings for items that many adventurers can trade with. So this is where they're going to be increasing and changing the maximum quantities of certain items that people can trade at one time. So for instance, the maximum number of items that can be registered at one time when selling or purchasing the following items has changed. Blackstones. You used to be able to do 5,000 at a time, now you can do 10,000. Number of available purchases request is 500. It's going up to 1,000, so if you want to buy them, you could buy up to 1,000. And then when the was built number, so if you own that many, you could buy 5,000 when you have more than 10,000. So with the cooking items, the number of dishes below can be requested to be purchased at once has been increased from 500 to 1,000. The number of sales is 10,000, which is the same as before. If there are more than 10,000 items sold in the dish items below, 5,000 items can be purchased at a time. So basically saying if they're sitting on the market, you could buy 5,000, but if there's none, you could do pre-orders up to 1,000. So this just, I'm not going to read down through this whole list. They're changing metal items too, very similar. Ingots, blood, same thing. Pre-order up to 1,000. You could sell 10,000 at a time. Oils, the number of items listed below for sale at once has been increased from 2 to 10,000, and then you could purchase up to 1,000 of them. Change the number of transactions on the integrated exchange for ores, 2 to 10. Okay. Ores are changing. Caphras, let's see. Babylon scale. I think that's Garma scales, maybe. Number of sales registration available 200 up to 1,000. You can now purchase up to 500. Metal solvent, memory shards, no change. You can, well, yeah, you can pre-order up to 1,000 memory shards now. Fixes of seal black horsepower, those are concentrateds, I believe, can go up to 1,000. Blackstones are going up to 10,000. Sharps can pre-order up to 1,000. Milk you can pre-order up to 1,000 and sell up to 10,000. And Caphras, you can pre-order 1,000 Caphras at a time. So there you go. In order to stably apply the change in the quantity of integrated exchange transactions of some items, the waiting list for the purchase sale of the corresponding items will be canceled during the regular inspection of June 18th. So on June 18th, all of your pre-orders are going to get reset. The following items have been added to the item description related to the exchange of remnants of the spirit. Stuffed furniture and the breath of Axion, or the breath of Orneo, which is Narcion. So they're just, I guess you can get the remnant of the spirit for those now. Oh, you can use those for the remnant. Okay, monsters. They're making this, in the monster zones, they're making it easier for your Tunkata and your Jade Flame. So a weekly quest has been added to compensate for the Embers of Despair rising in the Tunkata region. So in the Tunkata region, you've increased your chance of winning a rising Ember of disappointment that can be obtained when you kill the next monster. And same thing with Jade. So those of you who don't have your flames, go to Tunkata, go to Jade, start grinding out your flames if you haven't already for your armors. In the Jade Starlight Forest, same thing. Also, the number of frost rising for the Oblivion of Urtia and the number of possible acquirable branches of the Jade of the Ages has been increased. So same thing in the box of Eritrea, you can get more embers and more jades. So they're really trying to push everybody to kind of catch up with gear. Background NPC effect cutscenes. In order to find the main NPCs in Calpheon, we have changed the location of the larger, the Duet of the Leaf, the Alchemist, and the Descent of the Emerald Manager. Okay, those are bad translations. We'll go through them. Dalishin, the alchemist, she is now going to be right by the northern gate. Old Moon Manager is going to be right inside the northern gate. When you guide the location of the Golden Pig's Den and the Lucky Gold Pig Den in the Hunting Ground Information UI, it has been modified to guide you to the Door Food NPC. Okay. Server Selection Screen UI. The phrase in the season server description has been modified to fit the current settings, added information about the upper limit of the maximum level, and the content about the effect of increasing in life experience value has been removed. System, when your naval reputation is below 0, pirate status, it has been changed so that the following NPCs cannot repair you or restock you. So if you are a pirate, you will no longer be able to refuel and repair in Moodle's Village, Haimu Island, Bukpo, Wally Island, Aspercan, Odalita Castle, or Camasilvia Castle, and I believe Delay Naru might be Delay Pier. So there you go. Notice of increased update capacity due to sound file replacement. We will guide you through the next 2 weeks of sound file replacements to ensure a stable provision of game sound. So I guess they're updating all the sounds of the game. Maybe music, maybe sounds, who knows. First update is going to be on the 25th. The update capacity of the date will increase somewhat more than usual. This is the Adventurer's Patience, please. To improve the in-game audio stability, we'll be replacing sound files over the next 2 weeks, all the way through the end of the month. Because of these changes, updates on these dates will be significantly larger than usual. Please keep this in mind as you proceed with the updates. So on the 19th and the 26th, there's going to be very large patches, so maybe extended downtime, and if so, we'll get goodies. Looking at the modifications and changes, the icon of the Stable Master Young Wu located in the 12 Great Forests has been modified to be exposed normally on the world map. The input key shown in the horse's sprint description has been modified from W plus shift to shift. During the Battle of Orzetia, it was corrected that the Black Invader could not be detected normally under certain circumstances. Fixed an issue where the bordering, according to Solaire's window statement, did not match the previous season's end score. Red Battlefield, the game time in the capital Valencia was not over, but if the goal score was reached first and ended, the penalty was not awarded. Fixed a phenomenon that the request completion message at the top of the screen was not exposed when the request was completed for Yonru again. Fixed an issue where the icon in the old menu was exposed in the menu. When investing energy in a stronghold, or I believe that's node, with a character with a long-term unconnected state, the phenomenon of awkward phrases being exposed has been corrected. Don't know, that's a bad translation. Fixed an end to the Black Desert client in certain circumstances when using Fairy's generous touch technique. So it was closing people's client when the Fairy would use generous touch. Fixed a phenomenon in which the road finding function was awkward when we tried to find our land as our destination in a lake or river within a continent rather than the ocean. So if you're on a little raft or something or swimming and you tried to auto pass, sometime it would take you the completely wrong direction. Menu escape. When you open a 6-story warehouse in the Royal Workshop menu, the 630-30-30-30 warehouse has been modified to close the 630-30-30-30 of whatever. I don't know what that's talking about. Something about the Royal Workshop changing. Fixed a feature that allowed the skill could move the item to another character even though it was in a cooldown when the item below was installed. The Acidel necklace, Acidel waistband, and Tybex waistband. Apparently, regardless of the cooldown, you could still move those with your maids. Fixed a change in the last digit of silver when purchasing items that do not end in price at the secret store of Petriglio. Country, Land of the Morning Light. After entering Magnus from Seoul, the phenomenon of deducting silver coins and moving back to Seoul through the blood vessels of the abyss was corrected. Okay, I don't know if it was taken too much or too little. Fix an awkward exposure of the component information if there was more than 15 components of the item in the Pearl Store. Fix an unnatural alignment of items in the warehouse if a specific action was performed while the warehouse automatic sorting was checked after the village selection of the world map, and fix an error message in a specific situation when investing in a base. Okay, that covers it. So major changes, besides C8 through 10 Gumiho, and all your pre-orders are going to get reset next week. Other than that, faster leveling, get your flames, and have a great week. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I always enjoy comments.